This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Tonight on The South Today, Dunedin residents are being encouraged to have their say on curbside collection. Hand-stitched kneelers are on display at a terrace church after 27 years. And the Dunedin Fringe Festival has been cancelled following the arrival of COVID-19 outbreak to Dunedin. Kia ora, good evening, I'm Simon Anderson. We start tonight with an update on the COVID-19 situation. A Dunedin high school at the centre of 2 cases will shut its doors until at least next Monday. Logan Park High School will shut down temporarily as 150 close contacts of a pupil who tested positive are themselves being tested. It's been announced there are now 8 new cases of the virus in Dunedin, all related to people who have just arrived from overseas. One of those is in Invercargill, taking the total number of confirmed cases in Otago and Southland to 4. A large number of events have been postponed, including all club rugby and cricket matches, as well as A&P shows and school fairs. For more information about the developing situation, read tomorrow's Otago Daily Times and go to odt.co.nz. Dunedin residents are being encouraged to have their say on curbside collection. Mayor Aaron Hawkins says the current black plastic bags will have to go for safety reasons, being replaced by a second wheelie bin.
The Dunedin City Council is considering 2 options for additional wheelie bins to deal with household waste. Both options would see the retention of the existing blue bin for glass and the yellow lidded wheelie bin for cardboard and plastics. The option 1 adds a new wheelie bin for household rubbish to replace council rubbish bags. And the second option sees an additional wheelie bin for food and garden waste. Dunedin Mayor Aaron Hawkins says the black plastic bags have to be replaced with a bin for people's safety.
The status quo isn't an option. It's becoming increasingly difficult from a health and safety point of view to get, quite rightly, to get contractors to hire staff to pick up plastic and deal with the risk of glass or needles or whatever that might be dangerous and unsanitary in a black plastic bin. You do away with that risk obviously by using a reusable wheelie bin system.
A number of households already use the bins of third-party rubbish contractors such as Enviro Waste instead of rubbish bags, and Hawkins says their work could be incorporated into the new system.
I would be surprised if existing operators in the waste collection business didn't put forward proposals to be a part of that municipal system, whatever we decide to do.
The council has posted out a pamphlet on the options, and Hawkins is encouraging anyone with interest to have their say.
And to put it in perspective, I think the last time council had this conversation when they introduced the curbside recycling system, we got more than 10,000 public submissions on it, and the increased interest in waste minimisation and environmental issues in general in the decade or so since would suggest that we're not going to get a drop-off in interest at this point. So I would encourage anybody who has an interest to let us know what they're thinking as we head through the design process.
Submissions on curbside rubbish collection close in mid-April. In Dunedin, The South Today.
The New Zealand and Australian governments have announced this year's Anzac Day services at Gallipoli will be cancelled due to COVID-19. Anzac services across the country, such as this one seen in Dunedin last year, are also in doubt. The RSA held an urgent meeting this afternoon to discuss options for the day. A spokesman says the RSA needs to consider the demographic of their organisation that would be attending the Anzac Day parades. One of the most unusual ecclesiastical collections in central Otago is attracting another round of attention 27 years after it was created. Hand-stitched kneelers with images reflecting the area's history are now on display at the Presbyterian Church in Terrace.
78 hand-stitched kneelers that have been part of the fabric of the Terrace Presbyterian Church for 27 years have now been mounted on the backs of pews by American businessman Mike Mounts, so that visitors can get a better look at them.
Well, it just started with an idea. These beautiful kneelers were sitting on the pews, and they were piled up, and everybody that came in would have to lift one up at a time to look at them. And it was very awkward, and they'd get tired of it. So we come up with the idea to mount them on the back of the pews, so now anybody that comes can get a good look at them. But they're beautiful, beautiful pieces, handmade by the people of the church.
The kneelers, for those wanting to kneel while saying a prayer, were created back in 1993 by members of the Terrace branch of Women's Division of Federated Farmers. They were a community project for New Zealand women's suffrage celebrations that year.
And they're just all so stunning. The unique thing is not only is the picture stunning, but their names are embroidered along the sides. And I just find it amazing that somebody would go to that amount of work.
The church is now owned by the Terrace Community Church Trust, which was set up with funding from Mr. Mounts and community funding organisations.
I'm not a religious person, but God gave me the message to buy the church a year ago. And I thought first when he said it was to buy it and to own it, but it was clarified to me, no, it was to pay for it. So what happened is I paid for the church, bought the church, paid for it, and gave it to the community of Terrace, that they can have it forever and a day. And it's open up, one of the things that I wanted it to be is open up to any religion, not just strictly a Christian-based religion, but any religion that is open for prayer.
Mounts says he takes a spiritual view of the money he's contributed to making the church available to the community.
Throughout my life, I've asked God for a lot of things to help a loved one get well, to help me get out of a bad situation financially or whatever. I've asked. And on this given day, God asked me to help out with the church, to buy the church. So I don't even view it as my money. I view it as God's money. I was just the wire that just went from my bank account to theirs. I honestly don't even view it as my money.
The picturesque church on the hillside above Terrace is still used for church services and other functions. In Terrace, the South today.
The Dunedin Fringe Festival has been cancelled following the arrival of the COVID-19 outbreak to Dunedin. But one act plans to keep rehearsing to record their show for posterity.
The Dunedin String Orchestra, or STRORC for short, were busy rehearsing for the Fringe last weekend, but now their intended performance has been cancelled, along with all the other acts scheduled for the festival. However, they're now thinking of continuing their rehearsals and at least make a recording of the works, some of which were created specifically for the concert.
Dean Hullaban had a few pieces that he had never really heard, so this is his chance to hear them played. Tom Jensen wrote a piece specifically for the concert, brand new piece. And then we close with pieces by me, which are a mixture of a few pieces we've played before in other concerts, but never all together, and see how they go together.
Conductor and composer Tom Jensen says the orchestra always welcomes new members, irrespective of their skill level, with the current ensemble including some who normally play other instruments, as well as some virtuosos from the Dunedin Symphony Orchestra.
I think it's really important to bring people together and bring players who want to play. Some of them are jazz people, some of them are classical people, some of them are improvisers, some of them are quite new to playing, some of them are veterans. Yeah. So it's really cool to have them all in one place and play some music and different takes on their different perspectives.
While Jensen's composed for all sorts of instruments, he says strings can bring something unique to the music.
You have the plucked pizzicato, you can have bowing, and there's lots of different options for bowing and articulations. And they're really beautiful. I try to write really beautiful music. Maybe there's some contrast with dissonance and beauty, but mostly it's very beautiful, and so strings are really perfect for that. With good players, it just shines and shimmers.
Starrett says while the orchestra is an ever-changing pool of players, some local identities have been regular figures in the group.
Part of it is going to be dedicated to Phil Davison, because he was our double bass player last year and has just recently passed away.
The Fringe Festival says it's looking at ways to host a digital version of the festival to allow the public to enjoy the performances online. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Still to come on the South Today. We head to Alexandra, where art is literally a piece of cake, and there are consequences for some St Paddy's Day revellers within the COVID climate. See you after the break.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
Hasn't been much of a summer, has it? Until now. It's hot, it's getting warm, it's great. This is the time of year we love this weather. So we have a lot of surplus stock and we want to clear it at real hot prices. 50% off anything that's short sleeve. T-shirts, short sleeve shirts, polos, everything short sleeve, half price.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, get them while it's hot.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Step into Ross Cafe, located at Ross Home in North East Valley. We have a great range of hot and cold food, friendly service and a warm atmosphere that you are sure to enjoy. We look forward to serving you soon at Ross Cafe.
You've seen us in the street, now find us online. Check out shopon.org.nz. We have all sorts of treasures, from retro and vintage clothing to antiques, homewares and accessories. New items added every week. We're open 24/7.
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
Garrador Dunedin, delivering quality, stylish garage doors in Dunedin for over 17 years. New doors, replacement doors and maintenance are all part of Garrador's quality service. Garrador Dunedin offers a full range of modern quality doors to suit any home. Come visit the team.
Extreme places and extreme animals. But some animals are more extreme than others. Join us as we count down to find the most unusual and the most extraordinary on Animal Planet's The Most Extreme.
No mai nō, welcome back. Intricate flowers made from icing along with perfectly formed decorated cakes took centre stage in Alexandra last weekend. The appetising artworks were showcased at Alexandra's Community House.
The Central Otago Cake Decorating Club displayed their finest work at the Alexandra Community House yesterday. Club President Judith Crossland said the ultimate aim was to share ideas.
Every year it's something different and we just have a go, so when we meet we try and have a go at doing something.
The event is designed to increase the club's profile and raise money as it prepares to host the New Zealand Cake Decorators Guild Conference in Alexandra next year.
But it's all about having a go. I think this year's is freed-in camping, so that could be really quite exciting.
A steady stream of people viewed the cakes on display, including youngsters who also got a chance to try their hand at decorating cupcakes.
So we're just starting to build up and see where we can go from here. And it's just letting people know what we've got, what we can do, and what our passion is.
The club also provides members with problem-solving techniques and an opportunity to share ideas. In Alexandra, the South Today.
A sprawling beach house at Ocean View, south of Dunedin, has been a long time coming, but it was worth the wait. The owners spent 3 years living in the garage after they demolished the original house to make way for the new one.
Carol Williamson and Judge De La Roche have fallen in love with their new beachfront home in the Dunedin suburb of Ocean View since they moved in last year. However, they're not new to the area, as they originally moved into a 1970s A-frame home on the same site back in 2004. After buying the neighbouring house, they demolished both homes and moved into a garage while their new house was under construction.
We'd spent 3 years in the garage, living there, which isn't too bad. The garage has a bedroom and an ensuite and 3-car garaging, so it wasn't really doing it too hard.
A double-height living area separates the master suite at one end of the home from the 3 guest bedrooms and bathroom at the opposite end. And each set of sliding glass doors weighs more than 2/3 of a tonne. The Mason and Wales designed house sits across the 2 adjoining beachfront sections, being a sizable 350 square metres.
Wow, moving in here, like we couldn't find each other in this house. Like we're sort of walking around going, where are you?
The home was built by Williamson's son, who was also building his own smaller version of a beach house just down the road. And they're very grateful for his hard work.
There wouldn't be a day go by that we haven't said how much we love it. It's warm, we love the fact that Zach has done everything beyond, he checks it every time he walks in.
The house's spectacular views over the sea allow for the occasional sighting of dolphins and whales swimming by. In Dunedin, the South Today.
Tens of thousands of dollars worth of stolen items were found when police raided the Mosgiel home of a mongrel mob member last week. Police say the items were likely taken during multiple burglaries late last year and are linked to drug crime. Items found included a motorbike and building gear. No drugs were found at the property during the raid. One person was arrested and charges are likely. Police are working to track down the owners of the items, which mainly came from building sites. University of Otago students are being urged to take coronavirus warnings seriously after a large number defied calls to avoid mass gatherings during St. Patrick's Day yesterday. 3 people were arrested and 5 students were referred to the university's proctor following celebrations around the city yesterday. Dunedin police say the arrests, which happened across the afternoon and evening, were for disorder and breaching bail by drinking. The referrals were due to behaviour offences which did not reach the arrest threshold. Director General of Health Dr. Ashley Bloomfield said, "Today people need to take advice seriously and stopping mass gatherings is a really important part." After the break on the South Today, returning Highlanders keep a low profile as they head into isolation, and we have the late week's weather for you. See you soon.
Wrens are Otago's painting, tiling and plastering experts. Offering a free measure and quote, Wrens is a name you can trust to get the job done right. Call Wrens today on 477 9384 or visit wrens.co.nz.
If you're at risk of developing melanoma skin cancer, you owe it to yourself to have a mole map. Mole map is coming to your area. Phone today to make an appointment. It could save your life.
Step into Shop on Carroll and discover a shop full of treasures. We have a fantastic range of vintage and retro clothes, upmarket clothing labels, collectible items, beautiful jewellery, quality linen and the best range of vintage haberdashery.
Heaven Sent Pet Cremations knows that losing a pet is like losing a family member, and we have many special ways for you to keep their memory dear to your heart. From caskets, remembrance pendants to remembrance spheres. Call Heaven Sent Pet Cremations today.
Hasn't been much of a summer, has it? Until now. It's hot, it's getting warm, it's great. This is the time of year we love this weather. So we have a lot of surplus stock and we want to clear it at real hot prices. 50% off anything that's short sleeve. T-shirts, short sleeve shirts, polos, and everything short sleeve, half price.
Every reason, every season, we're proud to dress the region. Alex Campbell Menswear, it fits.
At Alex Campbell Menswear, get them while it's hot.
A poorly maintained heat pump can lose up to 35% of its output. The Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner team are experts. Their specially developed chemical wash is totally biodegradable. Call Mr. Heat Pump Cleaner and get the job done by the professionals.
Step into Op Shop on St Andrew and discover a place with plenty of bargains for yourself, your friends and the whole family. For a fabulous range of economy and upmarket clothing, accessories, books, shoes and more. Shop with us and support your community.
Thanks for staying with us. Members of the Highlanders touring squad arrived back in Dunedin yesterday, beginning their 14 days in isolation. After more than 18 hours of travel, having left Argentina at noon on Monday, the first batch of players looked a tired bunch on their arrival in Dunedin yesterday, just after 9 a.m. 27 players and 9 managers hopped into vans, with the majority taken to their own homes, where they would begin the fortnight stint. The players will still train, but by themselves and not in public areas. The Super Rugby competition has been suspended after both the Australian and New Zealand governments introduced a 14-day lockdown rule on all people re-entering the country. And now recapping tonight's top stories on the South today. Dunedin residents are being encouraged to have their say on curbside collection. Mayor Aaron Hawkins says the black plastic bags will have to go for safety reasons. Hand-stitched kneelers with images reflecting the area's history are on display at a Terrace Presbyterian Church after 27 years. And the Dunedin Fringe Festival has been cancelled following the arrival of COVID-19 to Dunedin. One Act plans to keep rehearsing to record their show for posterity. And now for a look at what's happening in tomorrow's ODT, we welcome Hayden Meikle. Kia ora, Hayden.
Good evening, Simon. How are you?
I'm well, thanks. How are you doing?
Good. No surprise at all what today's topic is, and the topic's going to be for a while, COVID-19. A lot of angles today. So I think our fourth confirmed case in this part of the world, an Invercargill person, has tested positive for the virus. Mm-hmm. And following up to the Logan Park High School situation, I think 150 close contacts of the pupil who tested positive are being tested as we speak. Of course, immense interest, as there will be around the city, of if any of those come back positive. A really strong, powerful story about local cafe owners who were looking to sell their business anyway. They're talking about the effects of the virus and how tough it is in the hospitality industry. Yeah. You know, trying to pay staff. You know, there's trickle-down effects. And education. So that's another huge angle at the moment. Obviously, we've got Logan Park High School shut for a couple of weeks and being cleaned. Lots of talk on social media and elsewhere from parents wondering what's going on. And in fact, lots of parents pulling their kids out of school. So one school, I think in Dunedin, reporting a 50% absence rate yesterday, which was quite extraordinary. It does show that parents are effectively taking that decision themselves. So that's a real watch this space kind of thing to see where the Ministry of Education goes with that. We've got a yarn with a Dunedin scientist or two who have looked at their role in the COVID-19 test, so that'll be very interesting. We've got another business or two who are shutting down for a couple of weeks, and of course a huge effect for those guys. Sport's been a massive issue now, and our Adrian Siccone's been flat out today doing a bucket load of stories. He's got stories on all the various competitions. I think football today was the latest. It's shutting down for a certain period of time. Club rugby, club netball, they're all down. I think, let's face it, the likelihood is a lot of sports simply will not be back in action for an awfully long time. So that's been a big angle for us. And one interesting non-COVID story, the Wanaka tree, that very famous, unique tree, has been deformed is the word that's on my list. I'm not sure if it's deformed, but somebody's cut some branches off it. It's created a lot of discussion. So one small bit of welcome relief from obviously a flood of stories about the global pandemic that we're all thinking about.
Great, Hayden. Thanks very much.
Thanks, Simon.
And now for a look at tomorrow's weather.
Tonight's weather proudly brought to you by Mole Map.
Starting with tonight's southern view overlooking Otago University on a Dunedin sunny day. Looking at the situation, a weakening cold front arrives over southern New Zealand later tomorrow. Milder northwesterly airflow precedes it, while it's followed by colder southwesterlies and showers. Straight to the southern towns tonight, Balclutha and the Catlins can expect fresh northwesterlies with late showers and a high of 18 degrees. Lumsden and Gore get ready for southwesterly change that brings showers later. You share a high of 17 degrees. Travelling westwards to the Central Lakes, Tiano also has the southwesterly change, bringing showers with a high of 15 degrees. Alexandra, Queenstown and Wanaka are all in for moderate northwesterlies with high cloud and highs ranging from 18 to 21. Heading north along the coast, Timaru and Oamaru can expect moderate northerlies with high cloud and 22 or 23 degrees. Inland, Twizel and Omarama can welcome similar conditions, just a couple of degrees cooler, reaching 20. In Dunedin, it'll be cloudy tonight with an overnight low of 11 degrees. It should be mostly fine tomorrow with sunny periods and high cloud and moderate, milder northerly winds. Expect rain to develop tomorrow night with cooler southwesterlies, a high of 20 and a low of 12. Friday's likely up and down with some sunny periods, but also cloud and scattered light showers at times too, and fresh to strong breezy cold southwesterlies, a high of 13 and a low of 8. And it should be mostly fine tonight in Invercargill with a low of 12 degrees. Tomorrow sees cloud increasing and some showers developing tomorrow afternoon, with fresh northwesterlies changing to colder southwesterlies, a high of 18 and a low of 10. Showers should clear during the day on Friday with fresh to strong cold southwesterlies easing slowly, a high of 12 and a low of 9. And that's the news this Wednesday. For the latest news from the southern region, head online to odt.co.nz and follow Channel 39 on Facebook and YouTube. Have a great evening. Ka kite noa.
This bulletin proudly brought to you in association with Alex Campbell's Menswear.
Supporting local content so you can see more of New Zealand on air.